Hello everyone, welcome to Grand Arena Championships. We are in Season 4, Week 2, Round 2. This is my attempt number 3 at recording this voiceover of a recording that I made on Christmas. I of course opted not to stream on Christmas, just trying to spend a little bit of time with the family and stuff. So I just did my battles, recorded them, but I did not actually stream anything, didn't have any kind of sounds. So we are doing a voiceover of the recording, and of course the first two times, first time I forgot to turn on my mic, second time my wife walked in and I hit the wrong button, and so I stopped the recording completely. So our opponent today is this guy who I refuse to say his name. We'll take a look at the comparison real quick before we get into it. Big thing that we have to notice here is he has a huge mod advantage on me. He's got almost 10 more 6-dot mods. He's got like 100 more plus 10 speeds. He's got like 30 more, almost 40 more plus 15s. He's got double my plus 20s. He's got some plus 25s hanging in there. So he's killing it on the mods. He's got 5 more Zetas than me. He's got 3 more Gear 13s. So roster-wise, he's killing it. Even the Tier 7s, he's got 1 more. I've got a Tier 6. I've got a few more Tier 5s. He's got some 4s on me. But overall, the roster is heavily weighted over to him. Looking at the actual ranks in the Grand Arena stats, I definitely have an advantage there. So I think that he's maybe not as sure of himself in the PvP arena as I might be. Additionally, this guy is from a guild cluster that I used to be in. He is in the Alliance Iota. This is one of the top guilds in the Alliance. All of their guilds have the Delta symbol somewhere in the Alliance, and it's pretty much all like Greek characters, so except for maybe some of their assimilated guilds. Like for a while I was in the Alliance Dagobah, but yeah, all of them will have like a Delta character or like some Greek characters in the name. So it's a pretty high-end guild, and Iota is in the high end of the Alliance cluster rankings. So it was nice to be able to fight against like a former guildmate, especially one that is pretty powerful. So we'll go ahead and get into the recording here, and you will see how we did here. I do, of course, obviously end up winning. And he was attacking as I was deciding to go into attack, so we can see how my defense did at the same time. He one-shot all of my front teams. He one-shot all of the teams that were cleared already, and he got hung up a little bit on those bounty hunter teams, on the bounty hunter team that you see back there. This is the same defense that I have kept previously, so there's no real surprises for us there. And then we can take a look at his defense. Okay, so we have our. Sorry, I'm trying to do my arena climb. As I wasn't anticipating my my recording here to go as long as it has. And now we are in my final hour for arena climbing, so I have to get this done. So here we can go ahead and see he's got a Dooku-led B2 and Droideka. That's the first team I take out. It's the most difficult team that I see, and generally I like to take care of the most difficult team first. It seems to go better if you use your powerful teams against their powerful teams, rather than trying to go after the weak teams first. At least that's what I have experienced. I'm sure that everyone has their own experiences. Those are just mine. Okay, so I end up taking in Thrawn with Shore Trooper and Wampa. This is one of my favorite combinations, one of my favorite teams here. It seems to work really, really well for me against a variety of teams. You have a lot of healing, you've got the tank, and you have Wampa just doing his thing. With the Thrawn leadership, you're able to cycle around to the taunt, you're able to recover the protection. It's just an all-around really, really solid team for threes. So as you can see, my strategy here, and also this was like a Relic 4 B2 and a Relic 5 Droideka or something crazy like that. So my strategy here is to never let B2 take a turn, because I do not want never let Droideka take a turn, because I do not want Droideka to get his one-shot ability off. So I'm focusing down, doing as much damage as I can on the B2, and I'm fracturing the Droideka all the time, so he never gets to take a turn this entire fight. Droideka is constantly fractured. And there we go. We have the B2s out. We're gonna take out the Droideka real quick here, and then we'll be able to focus down on Dooku. So I got a little bit unlucky with my daze. I was not able to land a good daze later on in the fight there, but it's really not that big a deal. I am able to finish this with full health, full protection on everyone, and that was a pretty high relic team, so I was very happy about the performance of that team. And as you saw, or as you may not have seen, my what's his name? My Shore Trooper is gear 11. My Wampa is gear 12 with maybe 2 pieces, I think 2 bayonets. And my Thrawn is gear 12 with all of the gear 12 plus pieces, gear 12 and gear 12 plus pieces, but no gear 12 finisher, and obviously not gear 13. So being able to take out a team like that was very nice. Now we have here the Geonosians. We're taking our Traya against it. Nothing amazing about this. It's a standard counter. Everyone knows how it goes. I do not use Nihilis in this team. I figure it's much better to save Nihilis for a second team. We just isolate on the brute, and we take out the what do you call her? Take out the brute alpha, and then we focus on spy as much as we can, which usually you have to save spy for last. But pretty easy battle, pretty straightforward. Everyone knows it. Everyone does it. We'll get through this. There's really no commentary, so no commentary to make on this. So we'll just let it play, and we will be back in just a minute. Okay, so Sunfac, we had to take out first. He had the taunting going on, so we took him out. Took out Brood Alpha. Took out the Spy when he came out of stealth, and piece of cake. Now we have a. So I'm checking to see how my defense did, and we can see that I got another hold on my bounty hunters. He hasn't not tried my fleet yet, so I'm pretty happy that I got 2 successful defenses on that bounty hunter team. Spoiler alert, he does end up killing the bounty hunters on this attempt that he's in right now. And you'll see it here in just a second. As when I see his points shoot up, then I go and I check to see the defense. We have this Dooku team, which I really do not suggest using on defense. It is not a really good team. Dooku with Watt and there's another attacker. Nute. Sorry, it's Nute, not Dooku. Nute with Watt and Jango. There's no tank there. The main reason that you're wanting to use Watt is for the tank tech, because he just makes tanks so much harder to kill. But if there's no tank, then you're really losing out on a whole lot of Nute's kit. So I strongly would suggest not using Watt unless you have a tank in that team, especially on defense. I do use Watt on offense, and you'll see that a little bit later on. And I use it with Mission and Zaalbar, no leadership, and it's able to take out a pretty good team, and it's able to do it pretty well. So that's, personal opinion once again. Everyone's welcome to do whatever they feel works best for them, but I just would not suggest this kind of team because it is, as you'll see here, I take in Han and Chewie, and then what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to figure out what leadership do I want to use with it. Because I'm trying to save CLS so that I can have another team. And I'm just like, I don't know what leadership I want to use. I'm looking at Rolo because you never use her, but I know that she has a lot of turn meter gain built into her leadership, and I'm just trying to figure it out. And what I end up going with actually is Lando. Lando has a nice little speed boost, and he's got a little bit of crit damage, so he's gonna have a little bit of that offense that you lose by not using CLS as leadership, and that speed bonus is going to help a little bit. So we go in with Lando, with Han and Chewie, and we do pretty well. We do lose Lando in the fight, and that's just something that I was kind of expecting and something I'm definitely willing to live with, because I was able to save CLS, and that does actually come in key. Being able to save CLS for a second team is really nice. So here we have our Lando, there's our Chewie, and there's our Han. And we go into battle. I do make a couple of mistakes in here. I mean, you can't avoid making mistakes. Everyone makes them now and then. But he does get also the tank tech onto, or not the tank, the DPS tech onto, what's his face back there, onto Jango. And that's just something that I'm gonna have to live with. Like, my Han wasn't quite fast enough. But I'm all right with it. Like, it's not the end of the world that he gets that little bit of damage out there. And like, I focus down on Watt. I kill him off as quickly as I can, and then it's off to the races. We go after Jango. We take him out, and then we go after Watt and kill him off, and we're done. We get a nice 49 banners. Could have been better banners there if we had used CLS, but as I said, saving CLS for another team was way better. A lot more beneficial to save CLS for a second team. All right, so we get to see what's in the back, and we can see that he also cleared my fleet. And looking at the amount of reinforcements I had to use, at that point I knew that he had used a mirror match. He had saved his negotiator for defense, because a negotiator would have killed off that fleet a lot faster. It would not have needed that many. Would not have needed to go through that many reinforcements. So I knew that we had a negotiator to deal with, so I was glad I saved my negotiator for offense. And we can see here he's got a Grievous team, he's got a Bounty Hunter team, Crew team, and Night Sister. Nothing out of the ordinary. And I know that the next team I'm going to go after is going to be the Grievous squad. It's the toughest thing out there, so let's go ahead and take the Jedi Revan squad that I know I need to use to beat it. And this was actually really easy because he did not have B2 in the match. Now, I could have focused directly on Grievous at the very beginning. Might have gone a little bit easier, but I decided that I would go after B1 first. So I swap Turn Meter over to Yoda, I do the splash damage, I spread the buffs, B1 takes his turn, comes out of stealth, and then I direct focus on B1, take him out, and I do something that's not necessarily normal, I guess you can say. When B1 gets down to like 7 stacks, when he's one shot from dying, Yoda had just used up his and here I call the assist over to Jolie because I'm trying to let Jolie get as much protection back as I can. Now here's where I do something different. Instead of going after B1 and killing him, because Yoda has crit immunity, I'm trying to spread that crit immunity over to everyone else. If I do that, then they have a better chance to survive when Grievous gets ticked off. So there I was able to spread that crit immunity. I've got direct focus up. Go ahead and we kill off the B1. And because of the crit immunity, I took almost no damage on Yoda and on Jolie. And now here we just try to regen some protection health on Jolie. We go back over to Grievous here in a second, and we just focus Grievous down, piece of cake. So nothing special really about the rest of this fight. It's just a matter of trying to regen as much protection as I can. And I don't end up full protection on anyone except for Jolie. The reason I do that is because I am calling Jolie to assist a lot, rather than calling Yoda to assist all the time for that little bit of extra damage. Calling the assist over on calling the assist over on Jolie, it is a little bit better. You just regen that little bit of a protection. He's a little bit more durable for those random hits, the one shots and stuff. So there we go. Easy fight there because there was no B2. And we can move on to the next. Try to decide what we're gonna use next, what team we're gonna fight. And I think I finished clearing off this zone. I think the next one that I go after is gonna be the Night Sister team. But I'm trying to decide, what teams am I gonna use where. Trying to take a tally of what he has up north, so I can decide, okay, well, what am I gonna use here, and is there anywhere that I can do a solo nest? And that's what I think about next. I think is there a place where I can use my solo nest? And this is what I'm thinking is this Jin team. I'm looking at her potency, trying to figure out what she's got. I know her leadership adds some additional potency on top. So I saw she had 37%. It's not impossible. He's got 42% there. Again, it's not impossible. but it could be a bit rough. And I end up deciding not to do it a little bit later on. But it was close. It was very close, and I'm glad that I didn't do it. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But I think my next battle is here in the South Zone with these Night Sisters. But let's see what it is that I decided to do or not do. Okay, so this is where I was deciding: did I want to go after this this Jin team with my Kira Nest? And I was really close to hitting it. As you can see, I chose the characters. I had my finger on that battle button, or my mouse on that battle button, because I use an emulator. I'm like, man, I just don't know. Should I do this or should I not? And then I end up backing out so I can check the leadership on Jin, because I needed to find out how much potency she adds, 35%. And so I'm doing those calculations in my head. I've got like 120% or 130%, something like that, on my nest. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to resist all of these debuffs coming from her. I'm not going to resist the stun coming from her. And we needed to find out Cassian, how much potency does he have? And this is what solved it for me. He's got 72, 73% potency. And this grenade does healing immunity. And if that healing immunity landed, I would be SOL. I would lose that fight in a heartbeat. So that's what decided it for me. Cassian's potency was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to use a solo nest here. So then I've just got to decide, what am I going to do? And what teams am I going to use to take out these other characters? I'm like, okay, well, I've got Jedi Ray. Jedi Ray will work against bounty hunters. Jedi Ray will work against First Order. What clones do I have to go with Shaak T? I've got what Galactic Republic have I got to go with Shaak T? Because if I used Arc Trooper with Shaak T, I wouldn't have a full 501st for gas. And so I'm just, trying to think about it. Like, well, what am I going to do? My next team, I'm pretty sure, is going to go against that Night Sister team, which is my gas. I do end up using my gas there. I read the kit a little bit more between my last Grand Arena and this one. So I know that you have to have a full 501st in order to take advantage of the advance mechanic. So I definitely wanted to take advantage of that advance mechanic. And so I end up using gas with Ahsoka and the ARC Trooper. And then I do end up using Shaak T later on, but I use a different combination. So we'll see that here in a few minutes. Just waiting. Okay, so here we go. So I'm finally choosing my 501st team. So I've got Gas, I've got Ahsoka, and here comes my ARC Trooper. And I know that with Gas, it prevents revives. So it pretty much negates having Daka and Assaj and Zombie in there. The anti-revive mechanic is like really anti-Night Sisters. I still don't know the kit 100%, and so I do make a couple of mistakes here because of that. I was thinking that I have to get the kill shot with Anakin in order to prevent the revive, but that, I guess, is not the case. I still don't, like I said, I still don't know 100%. But as you can see right there, that assist call from Ahsoka is what killed off Assaj, and it does prevent the revive. So if I had known the mechanic better, then I wouldn't have extended this fight as much as I had, and it probably lost me a banner or two. Because I'm trying to get the kill shot on Daka there with my what's her face with my trying to get the kill shot with Anakin, but I don't think I needed to do that. But that's all right. We ended up taking out the team. We did it in one shot, and we did it fairly efficiently, I'd say. So now we are on to the First Order and the Bounty Hunter teams that we have in these in the back zones. I'm trying to decide, where do I want to use my First Order? Where do I want to use my Jedi Ray? What teams do I want to use where? And what I decide to do here is use my Jedi Ray against the First Order team, because I figure Jedi Ray against the First Order is a better counter than Jedi Ray versus the Bounty Hunters, and thinking I'm going to use something else to take care of those Bounty Hunters. So we go in for the First Order. We're using our Jedi Ray, BB-8 R2, and I was thinking about, well, that takes away R2 from my CLS. That's where I would have used him, but CLS is a powerful enough character that I don't actually need R2, and R2 is kind of necessary in the threes for BB-8. I make a couple of mistakes in this fight, but it's nothing big. It's nothing that you haven't seen before. You keep crew locked down so you can't taunt and stun. You kill off their damage dealers. You try to keep everyone stunned if you can using R2. And yeah, it's a fairly straightforward fight. I'm just going to let it play out. I keep letting or putting the stealth, the foresight onto Jedi Ray, because Jedi Ray is a bit more durable. She's constantly gaining that foresight. I like that better than I like the foresight, at least for the threes on BB-8. Now here's a mistake. I used my my wave over on crew on Xylo instead of on crew, which allows crew actually to get a stun taunt off. So that was definitely a mistake, but it's not the end of the world. I had already taken down the what's his face, the executioner, so not too concerned about the possibility of losing this fight. And we just we take out Xylo, and then we take out crew, and everything is good in the world. We'll let this play out. I'm going to do another arena jump over here. And we'll see you in a minute at the end of this fight. Okay, so something that you may have noticed in that fight is I was trying to extend the fight a little bit. I was trying to just do some some abilities in certain scenarios that you wouldn't have necessarily otherwise seen. That was because I was just, like I said, trying to extend the fight, trying to recover a little bit of protection. But unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, I've taken up my gear on my R2. He's like Relic 3 now. And because I've taken him up so much in his gear, it's hard. And he spreads that offense to his team. So it is much more difficult for me to be able to extend the fight like I normally would be able to do. So I'm not able to actually extend the fights as much as I want, especially in the threes. But I mean, I didn't do too badly there. I did not have full protection on my BB-8, but I had full protection on the other two, so we were good there. Now here I decided to take my Bastila Jedi against this. Trying to remember the team. I missed it as it was playing back. His Jedi Ray. That's what it was. I decided to take Bastila against the Jedi Ray, figuring that the bonus protection at the beginning would be enough to offset the healing immunity that comes from Jedi Ray that's not dispellable. And that 100% was the case. That bonus protection would have been really helpful against either the crew team or the Jinn team, but this Jedi Ray team I figured was the hardest of those three. So I took it here because it was probably the best team that I had, and it worked really well. I was able to prevent the healing immunity from Jedi Ray. Didn't matter at all because they had to break through all of my bonus protection before they could do anything to my actual health, and it was a piece of cake. So I start off with an ability block here on BB-8. Which is really nice. It prevented him from getting that first wiggle, so a lot less protection. Then I go after Holdo, because she's the only one that's not going to be gaining the foresight, so we take care of her as quickly as we can. I do swap back and forth damage going between Rey and BB-8 a little bit, as I try to take advantage of when they don't have foresight, but it doesn't work as well. But no big deal. We're able to kill off Holdo real quickly, and then we get a hit here on BB-8. We stun him, but sadly Jedi Ray has her assist ability up, so it cleanses the stun. Nothing I could have done about that. No foresight now on Rey. Now it is there. I try to clear it, thinking that I'm going to get my turn meter back, but apparently I don't know the wording on Ezra's kit as much as I wish I did. But we're able to keep on hitting her. We take out her real quickly. I use the assists against BB-8 so that he doesn't have the counter, so that he can't counterattack, that is. I get a lucky dodge there on the healing immunity move, the assist call from Jedi Ray, and then we continue to hit her and finish her off, and then we can just go after BB-8. As you can see, I lost a bit of protection there on Ezra, but thanks to Hoda and his mechanics, I'm able to actually regen that protection. And thanks to BB-8 being the only one left, all that he does is wiggle, which means that I don't have anything to really worry about, because all that he's going to do is counterattack. And with all of the foresight that I get, it's not going to do anything. So we're able to finish him off nice and easy here, and we get a full banners. Alright, so now we have Krennick, we have Carth, and we have Jinn. These are all pretty decent teams. Well, they're all pretty crappy teams. But they're nothing to slouch at either. But I have a lot left. So I've got my CLS, not a full CLS team, but I have CLS. I have my Nihilis, which would go under a Zaul lead. I've got... What else do I have? I've got a lot. So have plenty to deal with these guys. The only thing that I have that I'm probably not going to use at this point is my nest. I have Mission Zaalbar and Watt, which is a team that I really like using. I have quite a bit to use for offense here. And I just have to decide what is the best teams to use in which spot. Which team is the best counter for this team, which team is the best counter for that team, etc., etc., etc. So, I don't remember what I end up using next. We're going to find that out here in a minute together. I don't remember what I decided to use. I think the next team I go after is this Krennick team. And Krennick is a character that you just don't see on defense anywhere. So I'm like, I don't know his mechanics. I need to look at his leadership. I need to figure out what to use here. And I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember what I do. I don't even remember which team I fight next. Okay, so it looks like I picked my CLS with 3PO and Old Ben. Not a super powerful team, but it's not a slouch team either. And this is what I use against this Krennic. Okay, so yeah, this fight goes very easily, as you probably would expect. The confusion from 3PO really helps with preventing the taunt from going up. Got that turn meter reduction. You have CLS that's ignoring taunt. You got the turn meter reduction. You got the stuns. It is an all around really good team. And at least for fighting, teams that aren't that great. So I'm able to just constantly remove turn meter, doing the assist calls, taking out probably Death Trooper first. Here I should have killed Shore Trooper, but for some reason I decided to attack Krennic. Not a big deal. We'll go ahead and we'll call the assist to kill off the Shore Trooper because he was about to take a turn. We'll go ahead and we'll hit a stun or kill off Death Trooper, and then we can finish off Krennic. I lost a banner protection on Old Ben. Everyone else was full protection, full health, so nice, easy counter since I was able to save CLS and not use him in the full trio. So now we have a Carth team and we have a Jin team. So for the Carth team, I think this is where I use my mission Zaalbar and Watt, possibly? No, it's not. This is where I use my Sith team. I end up using Zaul lead with Nihilis and Sith Marauder. Those are my three most powerful Sith with a pretty decent leadership. It actually does work out well. You can use Nihilis to constantly dispel the taunt off of Zaalbar every time he gets it. You have Annihilate, so you don't have to worry about Zaalbar's stacking defense. This is just a really, really nice counter. They don't have enough damage. You have so much dodging and turn meter gaining through the Zaul lead Now, Zaul lead is something that not everyone has. It's a leadership I have from, way back when Zaul was actually meta, long time ago. And I was just like, okay, I went out to see what that final team was again, so I can be like, okay, what team am I going to use against that team? Like, what's the best team to use in the best spot? And I think I end up using, like I said, Nihilis against the Carth team. And I don't remember what I'm using against the other ones, so. This one should be where I go ahead and use my Nihilis. I should use it now. And picking our team, we're going down. Yep, here's our Sith. Okay. So there we go. We have our 3 most powerful Sith. Marauder also has so much lifesteal that he's nearly impossible to kill. That's another huge advantage of being able to use him on teams like this, where you don't have a lot of healing. Just being able to regen all of that, like all those hit points because you hit so hard is nice. Now I'm going after Zaalbar first. There are some times that I don't hit Zaalbar, and that really, I would say, is a mistake on my part. I want to go after Zaalbar first with every attack because I don't want him to taunt. I want to be able to hit everyone. Hit everyone. And if Zaalbar's taunting, I can't. Like right there, Carth got knocked below full health from a dot, and so now I have to hit Zaalbar. Whereas if I had not hit Carth a minute ago, I'd be fine. So just something to think about. I just constantly focus down on Zaalbar. I avoid hitting Carth. Hopefully I'm going to do that here. Yes, I avoided hitting Carth that time. And now I don't have to deal with all of the retribution. And we're just focusing on Zaalbar. He taunted because of his AoE, not a big deal. Now we can annihilate him, and now we can focus on Carth. And I decided to focus on Carth first, of course, because mission is just going to constantly go under stealth. Here I used the basic from Nihilis because he had blind. There's no reason to use the AoE, it would have just missed anyways. We take out Carth, and now we're just focusing on mission. And this is just, it's going to be over in just a second, and piece of cake. I would suggest, if you're using this team, don't use the Force Drain AoE from Nihilis when it's just her, because you actually would want her to use the blind move because that doesn't do damage. So just something to think about to maximize banners a little bit. If she's using her blind move, she's not hitting you. If she's not hitting you, you're not taking damage. So something to think about. And now I just have the Jin team left alongside the Bounty Hunter team. I want to say I saved the Bounty Hunter team for last. I have an idea of what I'm going to use for it. So we'll see here in just a second what I decide to use against the Jin team, because I don't really remember what I use. Once again, I use my clones, or my Shaak T Galactic Republic team. Hey buddy, I have my son coming over. He looks like he decided to come and visit me. So yeah, we use our Shaak T. And we have Barris, and then we have a clone sergeant. So I don't have like really good characters to go alongside of Shaak T, but I figure that this is enough because the Jin team is a pretty lackluster team. So we take this in, and it actually does really, really well. I'm able to focus down on Jin, take her out pretty quickly, and then I focus down on Cassian because he's the next biggest threat. And yeah, it's a piece of cake. one thing to note about Jyn and her leader, or not her leadership, her AoE, is that, everyone knows that her AoE is a res. You want me to open that for you, bud?
What?
You want me to open that?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone knows that her AoE ability has a res mechanic. Some people don't realize that the AoE requires 3 critical hits. So if you were to come in, say, with 2 characters, instead of 3, she's never going to res anyone. So just something to keep in mind. In the 3v3s, if you can get away with 2 manning, you don't have to worry about the res. And so now that Jyn is down, I am taking out Cassian, and now I can focus down on K2. And it's a pretty straightforward fight, very easy. I do end up losing a little bit of health here on Barris, but that's all right. Still, it's a kill in 1, and I'm on track for a full clear. Here you go, buddy. Okay, so there we go. Lost, like I said, a little bit of health on Barris, but no big deal. So now, as we can see, as I had predicted earlier, there's his Negotiator fleet, and he has a 7-star Negotiator. So I'm definitely glad that I saved my Negotiator for offense and not for defense. Now we have our the Bounty Hunter team, and this is where I end up using my mission Zaalbar and Watt team. This is a really, really good team, and it worked extremely, extremely well against these Bounty Hunters, as you'll see here. I was never in any real danger. If Boba Fett had more, if he had relic levels, this may not have worked, but it did work really, really well. The protection recovery from the tech is able to keep up Zaalbar really, really nicely. It's able to keep up Mission as well, because Mission's tech also has some protection recovery built into it. So we're able to blind on Boba Fett there. We work on him to try to take him down. And I think we will have to eventually switch back over to what's-his-face to Bossk here, but yeah, we're able to do some pretty good work, and we were able to take this out in one shot using this team. I had used this as a cleanup in a previous round of Grand Arena. I don't remember which, but it worked. It worked really, really well as a cleanup team, which is why I decided to take it in, and that's what I had planned on a little bit ago. Is I had planned on taking in this team for the Bounty Hunters when I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of low on teams. But there you go. That was the only time that I was kind of low, kind of close to losing, was when I took some pretty decent damage there from an execute from Boba Fett. But aside from that, as you can see, I'm regening health because of the heal over times, regening protection because of the techs, and this it works really well. Just getting those assists in, and I also put the Zeta onto Mission here shortly before this round of Grand Arena, and I have no regrets. It makes this team a lot better than what it was previously. Here we go. I think that I do end up with a little bit of protection lost. Yeah, a little bit of protection lost on Mission, but other than that, it was a really, really solid team. And so now we just have the Negotiator here. His 7-star Negotiator is going to be faster than mine, so I know immediately that I'm going to have to start out with Ahsoka. I catch my mistake here. I don't want to start out with 5s. I want to start out with Houndstooth. And yeah, we go in and Blue Rock is World. And for Arena, I generally will use Sun Fac as third reinforcement. For Grand Arena, I like to use Rex. The reason being, I don't want to break up my Geonosian team if it's required as a cleanup. So we have our Galactic Republic fleet using Houndstooth and just full Galactic Republic on the reinforcements. So we were able to do enough damage in the first round that Anakin was not, or that Kenobi rather, was forced to use his heal move instead of his AoE, and then we can just focus down on Rex. We try to take him out, at least take him down. I want to bring him down below 100% protection, and if I can bring him to below 100% protection, I'm able to force Anakin to take a bonus turn, which is going to get rid of his whatever that savior type mechanic is. Like right there, he took his bonus turn, so now I can kill off Anakin, and now the rest of the fight's going to be super easy. And so this is the last fight. I don't have anything else going on here, so after this fight's concluded, I might go ahead and close out the video. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up on the video. If you want to see more of these Grand Arenas, subscribe to the channel. I'd really like to get some more subscribers out there, so I can get this information, these counters and such, out to people. There's a lot of people out there that just don't know the best counters. There's the popular YouTubers out there who, they sometimes give the wrong information. I know they don't mean to, but it does happen more often than not. So I want to try to get the better counters out there. Not all of my counters work. I do quite a bit of experimentation in my videos. There's a lot that I don't know if it's going to work and such, so it's all like threes. We haven't done threes in so long, and there's been so many changes to rosters since the last version of threes, back before it was Grand Arena Championships. So yeah, I do a lot of experimentation. There's a couple of channels which I'll link in the description below as well, for End All Be All, for Klesso, and for I'm blanking on his name. Of course, I would blank on his name in the middle of the stream, or the recording rather. End All Be All, Klesso, and he's one of the better ones too. I can't believe I am blanking on it. End All Be All, Klesso. I remembered him in the last video that I talked about him, and I'd forgotten about End All Be All. Indigo, sorry about that, Indigo. If you are watching, I do apologize. So End All Be All, Indigo, and Klesso, not in that order. They're all three really good. I strongly recommend that you check out their videos. They, like I said, I will link their channels in the description below. They don't know that I'm doing this. I know that sometimes Indigo watches my channel. I don't think either of the other two do, but they are very, very good in their Grand Arenas. Strongly recommend that you check them out. And yeah, until the next time, thanks all for tuning in. We should be back probably tomorrow at some point for the Grand Arena offense on Twitch, and hopefully I'll have the video uploaded maybe the day after onto YouTube. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.